Hey, what's up, y'all? It's D about to react to this vid by Maddie Balls. It's titled Artists You Didn't Know Were Nepo Babies. They have Taylor Swift in the thumbnail. Oh, she got rich parents? Interesting. Didn't know that. Let's see who is all on here. Let's watch.
A Nepo baby can be defined as a person that takes advantage of connections that family members have. And this is extremely prevalent in the music industry. There are tons of well-known examples of this, like Will Smith's kids, Miley Cyrus, Julian Casablancas of The Strokes, and many more. Generally, most of those in the music industry have had some sort of leg up, if not nepotism. But there are also a handful of artists that have benefited from this that you might not be aware of, such as Whitney Houston. Real quick, I want to clarify, it isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're a Nepo baby, and I'm not dissing any of the artists in this video, but it is interesting to see how familial connections can be used to get you into the music industry. And it definitely doesn't mean that that connection was responsible for all of these artists' success. It just means that it was like helpful, you know? It was definitely more helpful than not having a parent in the music industry. And it's also possible that not everyone in this video used their familial connections, but let's be real here, they probably did. So with that being said, let's continue. The late Whitney Houston achieved many great things during her career before her tragic and untimely death in 2012.
Yeah, definitely doesn't mean they're not talented because, come on, the Whitney Houston, obviously, her talent is what really carried her.
Whitney's once-in-a-generation voice led to hit after hit and a reign as one of the biggest pop stars in the world.
I feel like it can get you in the door, but you have to obviously take it further on your own.
The peak of her success. Her accolades include 8 Grammys, 22 American Music Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, and an induction into several music halls of fame. The legendary singer released 7 albums and sold over 220 million records. She also had 11 #1 hits on the Hot 100. On top of this, after the massive success of her first few albums, in 2001, she signed one of the biggest recording deals of all time with Arista Records for $100 million. Since she's one of the biggest pop stars of all time, many people tend to forget that she is technically a Nepo baby. She first signed to Arista Records at the age of 19 with her first 2 albums both topping the charts for over 10 weeks. With all of this early success, she was able to perform at things like the Super Bowl with her acclaimed rendition of the Star Spangled Banner in 1991. After this, she also went on a little run in the acting world as well, starring in films like The Bodyguard, Waiting to Exhale, The Preacher's Wife, and Cinderella. She also went on to produce movies as well. Overall, she dominated the entertainment industry as one of the best-selling music artists of all time. And you'd think that most people in her shoes would argue against any nepotism allegations, but she actually openly embraced where she came from.
You come from a famous family too. Yeah. Your mom, Sissy Houston, got a great gospel singer.
Thank you. Thank you. Mommy!
Yes. Dionne Warwick, your cousin.
Yeah.
Now, did that help your career?
Yes, it did. It's you know, as my cousin and my mother put it, will help you get in the door, but when you're in there, you're on your own.
Did not.
You know, it makes it
I shock myself sometimes.
to have that legendary background. It's very.
I need to ask ChatGPT how I can hone in on these skills. I've Googled it before, they not give me enough info, but ChatGPT will get me right. And I got the premium edition now. I got the premium package. So I'm gonna ask them, like, be thorough, give me details. What can I do? I'm gifted. Help me.
You know, becoming. But once you get in there, you got to prove yourself to be as good or better. You know, so you know, it's not all that easy. Nepotism is not all that easy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not only was her mother, Emily Sissy Houston, a singer, she also had 2 Grammys to her name. Sissy was a member of the Drinkard Singers and a founder of the Sweet Inspirations, a vocal group that recorded background vocals for Aretha Franklin and Elvis Presley. After leaving the Sweet Inspirations, she embarked upon a solo career for which she earned her Grammys. Whitney was also cousins with Dionne Warwick, an American singer, actress, and television host. During her career, Dionne won many awards, including 6 Grammys. She's also been inducted into multiple halls of fame as well. So with both her mother and cousin having extremely considerable success in the music industry, as Whitney put it, they opened the door for her, but once she had made it in the industry, her career was in her control. And with that control, she became one of music's greatest and biggest artists of all time. So while Whitney may technically be a Nepo baby, she's probably one of the best ones we'll ever see. However, the same cannot be said for Ray J. Ray J is an American R&B singer, songwriter, television presenter, and actor. Throughout his career, he's become pretty popular for his moves in the music game, which has earned him some solid success. But let's be honest, most of us, especially my age, probably recognize him from that video with Kim Kardashian. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Early on in his life, Ray J and his family moved from a small town in Mississippi to LA. And in 1989, at the age of 8, he began auditioning for and appearing in TV commercials. Eventually, he worked his way up to playing the foster son in The Sinbad Show from 1993 to 94. His role on The Sinbad Show appealed to the producers of his older sister Brandy's show, Moesha, which he appeared on as D-Money from 99 to the show's end in 2001. Prior to this, in 1995, Ray J signed to Elektra Records, and he began to record his debut album, Everything You Want, the same year, which dropped in 97, and the lead single peaked at number 25, giving Ray J some early success at just 16. Soon after this, though, he was dropped from the label. Following this, he appeared in a few different projects, including several commercials for a toy company, and also around this time, he recorded the demos of his second record. After releasing his second album, which had a decent amount of success, he was now signed to Atlantic Records and went on to have a pretty solid career, including multiple albums, a couple reality TV shows, more work with his sister, and tons of drama. Ray J also founded Raytronics, which advertised with Diddy, Brandy, and sports teams like the Clippers. Raytronics also has Raycon, which you've probably probably heard advertised all over YouTube, including on my channel. Raycon, please sponsor me again, I'd appreciate it. However, with all of the success, there was a bit of nepotism involved. Throughout his rise, you probably heard me mention his sister Brandy a couple times, especially for the more important moments. His older sister Brandy is a multi-platinum recording artist who by the start of Ray J's acting career was already signed to Atlantic Records, the same label which eventually signed Ray J in 2001. And aside from Ray J's music career somewhat starting off the back of Brandy, his acting career followed a similar path. Whether it was on Moesha, where Ray J played Brandy's cousin / half-brother, or on One-on-One, where he played her brother again. Brandy almost always came first, with Ray J coming in after. Brandy was always like the first person, regardless of whether it was acting or music, and Ray J usually followed behind. Eventually, the two even had a reality TV show together, along with their parents, called Brandy and Ray J, A Family Business. So there isn't any direct proof that Brandy got Ray J his record deal or his acting gigs, but the fact that she was a bit more successful before him and he kind of
a lot more successful
makes it seem like a little bit of nepotism was at play. And while Ray J might be a closed case, Taylor Swift's nepotism allegations are much more controversial. Taylor Swift is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, artist on the planet right now. After getting very popular in the late 2000s, Taylor's experienced multiple eras of fame. Get it? Eras pun? But with each era, she seemingly gets larger and larger. More recently, Taylor's been known for her Eras tour, which grossed over $2 billion in sales, and was the highest grossing tour of all time by any artist of any genre, from any era in music history. That's enough using the word era, I'm done. I don't need to really go over it, you guys know how successful it is.
I'm sorry, I don't get it. I've reacted to her albums, her last 2 albums on my Patreon, and I've been trying to understand the appeal, get the appeal. I don't see it. And the Swifties over on my Patreon is basically telling me that her past albums, they have carried her because she used to be good. Is what they're saying. Not my words, theirs, okay? She used to be good back in the day. But
Swift is. So that's why her being one of the biggest artists of all time, it may be surprising.
But that's very interesting because you don't come across a lot of artists that have that privilege to where they are writing on their past success. There are a couple. Okay. But it's not a lot who can get away with that. Like, they have to consistently be good and consistently put out, good quality art for them to remain as huge as they are. You think about Beyonce, The Weeknd, etc. People have to keep, the talent going. But Taylor is just like coasting, like, and still topping the charts as big as ever. Like, it's fascinating.
That she may have her roots in nepotism. The reason people say this is because Taylor's family was pretty wealthy while she grew up. Taylor's dad, Scott Swift, dope ass name by the way, worked as a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch. Aside from his name sounding like a superhero name, Merrill Lynch is a massive wealth management company that manages billions of dollars for its clients and is under the Bank of America umbrella. Before starting a family, Taylor's mom worked as a marketing executive for a mutual fund company and later an advertising agency. So while her parents weren't billionaires, they definitely had a bunch of money to throw at her career. On top of this though, they weren't working in the music industry, so you might think, oh, it can't be nepotism then, right? Hold on a second. At first, they did want her to work in business, but when she showed interest in entertainment, her parents paid for her lessons, sent her to camps, chauffeured her to various songwriting sessions in coffee shops / club gigs, and eventually moved to Nashville as her career began to take off. However, the main thing that people point to is the fact that her dad invested in her first record labels. At just 14, she was signed to a development deal by Sony / ATV Tree Music Publishing with one of their labels, RCA Records. Story has it she allegedly got this first deal by going door to door in Nashville at different labels pitching her gig. After working on songs for a year, RCA didn't think she was ready yet, and so they offered her a continued development deal where she'd only work on demos till she was 18. But since Taylor insisted on releasing her works while they were still relatable, with the permission of Sony Publishing, she left RCA and switched to Big Machine Records. And this is where the controversy comes in. Apparently, Taylor performed a show at a cafe where Scott Borchetta was in the audience. Scott was looking to start his own independent label called Big Machine Records, which Taylor soon after signed a recording deal with. Around this time, while Taylor was working on her first album, her dad bought an alleged 3 to 4% minority stake of the label for a reported $300,000. And I mean, if your dad has $300K laying around to invest in a company, you can't tell me that's not helping your career at all. And it might not have constituted as nepotism beforehand, but now her dad is directly in the music industry as a shareholder of a record label, so I don't know, it's kind of like blurring the lines a little bit. And then when her first album debuted in 2006, it was an instant hit. Again, you can't pay for your music to have good reception, and you most definitely can't pay to become the biggest artist ever, but many people wonder how much influence her dad's investment may have had in her early career success. There's even claims that her dad bought 40,000 copies of her first single to give it its initial boost, but those are just rumors and have never been proved. Well, obviously her having a wealthy family and a good background definitely helped her get her foot in the door. You definitely can't blame all of this.
Listen, that's support. I love that. Her family was riding for her, period.
Nah, so Taylor Swift fans, please don't get mad at me. I think this is a pretty accurate portrayal of what happened. And again, Taylor used her roots to her advantage.
Swifties are trying to bully people. Shut up.
Ever. And I don't think the same could be said about Coi Leray. Coi Leray is another artist who you could argue is somewhat newer compared to
this is somebody who is a great example of, their nepotism getting them in the door, but them not doing nothing once they get in the door. them on some bullshit once they get in. And that's why her career didn't take off that well.
Pretty impressive accomplishments, specifically the 2021 Lil Durk remix of her song No More Parties going double platinum, and even on her own with Players in 2022 going platinum as well. She's been making music for quite a while and stepped back into...
Okay, she did a little something, apparently, but I mean, like, overall, I don't think her career is doing the best. I'm not saying it can't. She can always pick back up on it. You know, she just had a baby, so maybe her focus is elsewhere, but I just mean, like, yeah, she started off doing a bit well. That was getting her foot in the door, but she didn't, like, keep up that momentum.
The game in 2018, releasing her debut single, a response to A Boogie with a Hoodie song, DTB, titled GAN. Later that year, her breakout single, Huddy, and her debut mixtape, Everything Cuz, were both released. Again, in 2018, Koi had another big moment when she appeared on Save the Day alongside Ski Mask and others for the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack. After this, everything changed with Koi getting a deal with Republic Records, who she dropped her second mixtape, EC2, with in 2019. She continued this momentum working with people like Trippie Redd and artists like Fetty Wap. She even landed in the XXL freshman class of 2021. But during this freestyle, she actually got mocked a bunch. In the comments, people said stuff like, why do spoiled people want to go through the struggle so bad? It's okay to grow up financially stable. She raps about struggles like she don't stay in a gated community. She's talking about going through the struggle when her dad's net worth is $500,000. It's impressive that Coi Leray made the freshman list, but these comments do have some credence, and that's because her dad is Benzino. Benzino is a media executive, television personality, rapper, and record producer. A large part of his wealth and notoriety comes from co-founding The Source magazine. Through his music, he didn't make too big of waves, but across all of his business ventures, he's definitely made tons of money and connections along the way. He even had a huge beef with Eminem that's like super famous, and even though he lost it, you know, this guy, he was big enough to beef with Eminem. So I'm sure you can imagine how his influence in the industry might have helped Koi out. But their story is also a bit different, since they've had quite a bit of public beef. A large part of this stemmed from when Benzino accidentally leaked that Koi had a Nicki feature on her upcoming album. After this, she went on The Breakfast Club and explained how her father was forced out of The Source in the mid-2000s and her family went broke.
But that's the problem. Everybody thinks it's like a silver spoon situation. My dad lost The Source when I was like 9, bro. Like, once it was gone, I was old enough to understand life. And it was gone after that. Like, reality hit. We were broke and we're figuring things out.
This upset her dad and it led to this whole big public feud. They even had Benzino super angry at a Subway where he was posting videos about it.
When she brought the fact that I called and asked for some money, I don't have any embarrassment with that. That's my child. You know, I think she brought it up to try to embarrass me. The best way to take the embarrassment off is admit wholeheartedly, yes, I did. And I would have done it again. I won't now.
And what I called you for, I called you for some money. I made you didn't make me.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's whack. My dad is asking me for money. I'm giving him money. Okay, so hey, your parents take care of you your whole fucking life as a child and pay for all type of shit. If they on hard times or they need a little I don't think that's an issue to do that. So trying to clown him for that is so corny.
Yes. I'm supposed to. Who the fuck else am I supposed to call?
Exactly.
What the fuck is the matter with this generation of you kids, man? I'm proud of what you're doing, but Coi, you ain't done this shit or made the money that I made. You couldn't walk in my fucking Adidas for an hour.
But this is corny to get online and beef with your daughter. That is lame on your part, buddy. Grow up.
So it is still likely she had a leg up from her father's connections, but it hasn't gotten her super far. However, one artist that it may be surprising to hear on this list that has some nepotism roots is Destroy Lonely. Destroy Lonely first started getting popular in the past few years as part of the Opium Wave, and since then he's continued to grow his fan base. After
Sorry, it's early.
For a while,
I'm recording a lot earlier than I normally do. A and B, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Lone eventually got some attention with his 2019 song Bane. Eventually, Playboi Carti noticed him after the music video for his song Oh Yeah was released, and early the next year, Lone signed to Carti's Opium label. Following his deal with Opium, he started working with artists like Ken Carson and occasionally, if he got lucky, Playboi Carti. Around this time in 2022, Lone dropped his mixtape No Stylist, with the title track going viral on TikTok. His growing success continued in the following years, with his projects gaining increasing attention, and he was able to secure features from bigger artists like Uzi, Pink Panthers, and again, on occasion, if he was lucky, Carti. And while this growth seems organic and he's definitely one of those grassroots SoundCloud type artists, he also might be a Nepo baby as well. His dad, I-20, is known for being one of the first few signees on Ludacris's Disturbing the Peace label back in 1999, and also appeared on his first 2 albums. Eventually, I-20 put out his own work as well, which did alright, and while he didn't reach the same level of Luda, he was on some solid tracks. Notably, Luda's 2002 single Move Bitch, which blew up and became a pretty popular song. It's actually kind of crazy to think about Destroy Lonely's dad was on the song Move Bitch with Ludacris. Crazy world we live in. So while I-20 wasn't necessarily a massive artist or anything, he was clearly tied in with some of the industry's major names, and he was on a huge song. And this means it's definitely possible Lone could have benefited from some connections. In an interview with Paper Mag, they say, Lonely never wanted to be another example of a rapper with a famous father. But it's kind of hard when that is the case, and while he has come up in a more unique genre, it's hard to avoid reality, although Lonely doesn't quite hide from his past at all either.
Your dad has one of the most distinct, illest voices in rap history.
Yeah, Pop's crazy.
Were you like around like Ludacris and shit growing up?
100%.
Was like he your uncle?
Yeah, definitely.
Theo Luda?
Chris, 100%.
Yeah. Would you attribute just being around your dad to your rap career, like you wanting to pursue that?
at first I used to say I didn't, but like growing up and like thinking like how much that shit like really like was in my brain. Hell yeah, like
smoking out of
the internet. Like
good.
when I was a kid, like recording, I'm like, but I'm like in my dad's studio, right? So it's like shit like that. But when I was growing up, I definitely was like, fuck rap, I'm not on this. And then like over time, I kind of got into it, and then now growing up in it and like having this shit happen to me, I kind of like understand everything a lot more with that.
So on the outside, it does seem like he hasn't really benefited from his father's career at all, but it's most likely that he had some sort of leg up in one way or another. However, Robin Thicke saw a very large career, in part thanks to his parents. Robin Thicke is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer, and he's best known for his 2013 single Blurred Lines with T.I. and Pharrell, which pretty much put him on the mainstream map. This song was actually so popular that not only peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, but it also eventually went diamond. It actually remains one of the best-selling singles of all time. Prior to his massive success, Robin was discovered by the R&B singer Brian McKnight. With Brian, Robin produced and co-wrote several songs, which he also later went on to do with other R&B acts such as Brandy Norwood, Color Me Bad, Brownstone, 3T, Shantae Moore, and others. All this writing work led to Robin signing with Interscope at the age of 16. The label released his debut studio album, A Beautiful World, in 2001. However, it was a commercial flop. He then signed with Pharrell Williams' Star Trek Entertainment in 2005 to release his second album, The Evolution of Robin Thicke. It reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 and got him his breakout single, Lost Without You, which peaked at number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. And his third album did even better, peaking at number 3. His next 2 albums did a bit worse, but then when his album came out with Blurred Lines, everything went to the next level. Since then, Robin's been a part of a ton of other projects, including being on The Masked Singer and some other reality TV shows, and also a bunch of other drama that I've covered in other videos. Robin grew up in LA with his mother, American actress and singer Gloria Loring, and his father, Canadian actor Alan Thicke, divorcing when he was just 7 years old. As a kid, Robin appeared in small roles on TV shows, including The Wonder Years, The New Lassie, Just the 10 of Us, and several episodes of Growing Pains. But acting wasn't his main pursuit. He wanted to make music. His parents were definitely supportive, with his father even helping him to write and structure his first songs. According to Robin, in his early teens, his father wouldn't pay for their vocal group to record in a professional studio and wanted him to focus on school before committing to music. In the end, another member of the group's uncle, jazz vocalist Al Jarreau, I think that's how you say it, was the one who paid for it. And this demo is what made its way to Brian McKnight, who I earlier mentioned discovered Robin. Through this mentorship with Brian, Robin eventually met Jimmy Iovine, the co-founder of Interscope Records, who signed them early on. At 17, during his senior year of high school, Robin moved out on his own, earning a living and supporting himself as a professional record producer and songwriter. Robin claims that while his parents didn't push him away from his music career, they definitely had some doubts in the beginning, especially because of their experience with the nature of the entertainment industry. While he first got signed to a label as a singer and artist, it was his work as a writer and producer which made his name in the industry. His mom, Gloria Loring, is known for playing Liz Chandler on Days of Our Lives for 6 years. She also sang, most notably with the singer-slash-actor Carl Anderson, on the duet Friends and Lovers, which hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1986. His dad also was a songwriter as well as an actor. The point is, it's likely that his connections with his parents in the entertainment industry helped him out a little bit. Robin even admits to his father helping him write songs when he first got started, so the only reason he really had his career is because he was a successful songwriter, and the fact that his dad was a songwriter and taught him how to songwrite, I mean, you know, definitely a little bit of nepotism there. And considering he grew up in LA with parents in the entertainment industry, it's pretty obvious how this probably went down. But another very talented up-and-comer with some familial connections is Tu Hollis. Born in 2004, the same year that Taylor signed her first deal, Tu Hollis, or Hollis Fraser Herndon, is the son of 2 parents, both in the industry. He first entered the game in 2018 as a producer/artist under the name Drippy Soup, but then some years later he started getting popularity, especially after he released his album Like Tiger in 2022. And then
I'm gonna head up. Drippy Soup. Who? Y'all check out the video. I will link it down below if you want to hear more about Drippy and his soup. Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting though. I did not know that Taylor Swift family was on board and supporting her that hard. That's what's up. That's how you show up for your kids. Okay. I can't be mad at it at all. I love that. And Coy, yeah, I feel like she could have went a lot further in her career. Because she definitely had potential. And I don't want to say it like, oh, she's done forever, because once again, she can still pick up her career if she likes. But yeah, it seems like it kind of was going downhill right before she got pregnant. But anywho, shout out to all these artists though. I wish them well. Y'all let me know what y'all think, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.